Hi everyone, PATTAYA Owl here. Swaddy Cap, Sabadi Mai. Hope you're well. Well, I tell you what, it's been a busy week this week. A lot of you guys have checked out one of the other vlogs, which was based on the BBC documentary, and it's taken me like 24 hours to get through all the comments. So thank you to everyone who dropped a comment on that one. It's been an interesting one. However, this is a new vlog, and it is Friday. And this vlog, I'm going to share with you something that happened to me. I don't mind having these conversations if it's about mental health or physical health. But I tell you what, first of all, let's roll the intro. Well, just before we get on to the title of this vlog, I went to the doctors today because now that the owl is 40, I'm entitled to a full MOT. So I went in there for a 9 o'clock appointment, and she took loads of bloods, and they're going to check everything, including that liver function we've all talked about before, with the owl not always being great due to a fatty liver. So they're going to check everything, including cholesterol, if I've got diabetes, a full MOT. And of course, you put me on the scales, and it's the same scales that I stood on last time. And I'm weighing in at 15 stone 6. Now, that ain't good, because last year, when I was there in July 24, I was 14 stone 3. So she did ask, have you changed your diet? But thankfully, I'm still the same height at 5 inches, 5'7". I really do need to get this cup of tea down me. Oh. And the results of all them tests will be next week, and I'll do a vlog on it. I don't mind sharing it with you. I don't know how the kidney function is, how the liver function is. I don't know if I've got diabetes. I don't know what the cholesterol is. What I do know is I've had bad liver results before. I've had bad kidney results before. I've had on the not diabetes, but not far off the number that it needs to be. I've had high cholesterol. So it's going to be an interesting one. And if the results are bad, I'll share it with you. But you know what? I'm still off to Pattaya in just 2 weeks and so many days. It's getting closer. Now, like I mentioned at the end of one of my recent shorts, I think I've called it The World at War. If you've not seen that short, check it out. That I don't shy away from discussing anything on this channel. I enjoy it. I enjoy opening up. You guys get to know me a little bit more, but also a lot of you can relate to some of the things I talk about on here. And, you know, I've talked about medical before, and there is a vlog out there on my health. Check it out if you've not already. It's in the archive. And today is a different one on mental health, and I'm going to share with you. The owl hasn't always been this super confident, outgoing person doing meetup nights at the cave. It's not the case. I've been in a pretty low spot in the past, and I thought I'd share that with you on where I was and how I've managed to get to a position now where I do feel confident. I do feel like I've got high self-esteem. I am very outgoing, but it's not always been the case. Yeah, but why open up? Why discuss this? Because part of me sorting myself out, and I will tell you the actual story in just a second, was watching certain videos, speaking to people on the phone, face to face, and actually getting other people's perspectives and other people's little journey, if you like. You know, and that can apply to Pattaya as well. You know, if you've got someone who's been going to Pattaya for 40 years, sit down and have a brew with them, because no doubt they've got lots of stories and experiences and tips, and you can obviously learn from each other. And a lot of that happens on the live shows. That's right. I tell you what, sometimes on the live show, you lot natter to each other, and I love it. Right, that's enough waffle now anyway. So, over 10 years ago, going back to 2012, the owl was so low, there was no flying, I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't leave the house. I was that low. The year 2012, which is meant to be a fantastic year. A year of the Olympics in London, if you can remember. And I spent the full year pretty much in my parents' attic, not leaving the house. And it all started at the start of the year before, when I was made redundant from my job as a sales trainer at the Co-op Bank, a job that I loved and enjoyed. And we merged with someone else, and I was made redundant, and then I was out, no longer having that regular monthly income. But the whole process of it all really did kind of shatter me out more than I thought, and mentally easy for me to say, as well as physically. I was clearly putting on weight. I was eating junk. I was having the odd beer at the weekend, which is not a bad thing. But I think for me, the issue has always been kind of diet and grabbing a Chinese takeaway rather than having a decent, healthy meal. And yeah, it was a start of a bit of a downhill slope. What'd happen is, I'd start a bit of a job search on the Monday and send off my CV, not hear anything. Um, and I would just stay in and watch TV and eat junk. And then next minute, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Get towards the end of the week, time for a couple of cheeky bottles of beer, and you certainly don't feel like doing a job search after that. And then it just repeated week after week after week, to the point where the owl wasn't even leaving the house. You can call it what you like. Was it a slump? Was it depression? Was it exhaustion? Whatever it was, it was in my head. It was in my head. I didn't feel particularly great. I felt as if I was like overweight, but in fact, I was a lot lighter than I am now. In fact, I was around 13 stone 8 at the time. So the mind wasn't firing on all cylinders. I felt pretty low. And I just wanted to stay in, watch TV. I mean, I got, I was looking after myself in terms of fresh clothes, a shower, etc. So I wasn't, completely just not doing anything. But I had no desire, and I even, for somebody who's very confident, I was a sales trainer before. I couldn't really even go out and have interaction with people. So I used to order. Can you believe this? And this is, and I get some people still do this for all sorts of reasons, is order the shopping to the house. But I was doing it because I didn't want to leave the house. And, as I said, a lot of people do order shopping for all sorts of reasons. But some people order shopping for the same reason as me. And I fully relate to that and respect that. And that's something I did. And it was a bit of a comfort zone, in fact, having the Asda delivered, having the Chinese takeaway delivered to my house, or parents' house in this case, taking it up to where I was in a bedroom and eating it, watching TV, going to sleep, and then repeating the next day. And it went on way too long. I mean, out of that year, we give or take a few weeks at either side. A good solid 6 months of that was doing this, staying in, eating junk, having my supermarket shopping delivered, not interacting with people, being a bit of a recluse, if that's the right word I get to speak. Pulling myself away from social activities, not meeting up with regular mates, all of this kind of stuff. My family was really supportive, so thank you to them if they are watching. But yeah, it got to a point though, and I'll tell you, there was one particular day it was time for the owl, even though I wasn't the owl then, but will refer to me as the owl, for change. Well, how did you get yourself back on track or back on the wagon or whatever they say? Well, it was a nice sunny day, and in the attic room where I was, I decided just to open the window, look outside, look what a beautiful day it was. And this is someone who used to love them summer days, the blue sky, going out and about. I used to be around the Printworks in Manchester, having afternoon drinks, all this kind of stuff. I've been very, very sociable all my life. And it was that particular day, looking out of the window, and I thought, right, this is pretty low. This is probably the lowest I've ever been. I looked into what it could be. It could be a bit of depression, according to the NHS website. Whatever you want to call it, it wasn't great. And the first thing you have to do is recognise that where I am, you're in an attic room, you're in your 20s, you're eating Chinese, you're not leaving the house, you're not socialising with friends. If it wasn't for your family, God knows what position you would be in. It's time for change. You've got an opportunity to turn it around. That's what I did. I stopped ordering the Chinese takeaway. I stopped ordering the food to the house. I set up a treadmill in the attic, believe it or not. I did. I got it from Argos. And every day I got into a routine of eating healthier, mushrooms on toast rather than a banger on a bun, a muffin, whatever it's called where you are. Stir fries was my way out and way to fitness. Chicken, some noodles, peppers, sweet corn, all this healthy food, home cooking, and treadmill 2 or 3 times a day. Because at that point, I still didn't want to leave the house. And I felt if I'm putting better stuff into my body, moving more, losing weight, feeling better in myself, started to connect with more friends to catch up and see how they're doing it on phone, on the Facebook. Um, Being more engaged with family as well within the house, so nipping more downstairs rather than the attic room. Family would come round and I'd speak more in the kitchen. And it was a gradual process over 2 or 3 weeks, to be fair, to get out of the rut that I was in. Managed to sort myself out with a car, and then things started to progress from there. The point where I made the point of then my routine was to get up, get showered, get out in the mornings, go into the shops, get whatever I needed, go for a bit of a walk. And there was a particular massive lake where I used to walk, and they had nice facilities there, toilet, pub if you fancied a cheeky one, just normal stuff, right? And I used to go up there on a regular basis, and I progressed from there to then going out in the afternoons as well. Started reconnecting more with friends and going out on the odd cheeky night out once a week. And it felt like finally, towards that back end of the year, that I'd got myself not only back, but potentially ready to be even bigger and better than I've ever been before, confidence-wise. I think looking back at that particular bad year where I couldn't leave the house, it was definitely kind of mental over physical, because of course I'm bigger now. I'm 15 stone 6 according to the doctor this morning. So it's completely nothing to do with the way I look. It's all up here. I mean, I've never been so confident. I've never had higher self-esteem. I've never felt so content with me knowing who I am and what I want to do with my life. And of course, Pattaya is a massive part of that life. So the physical thing was a bit of a red herring. It was actually all in the head, bit of depression, bit of fatigue. And I wish that I got out of it quicker, faster and sooner. But you know what? It had to be a natural progression out of the rut. And anybody out there that is suffering the same or has done in the past, massive respect for you. And speak to people, try and get out of it through communication, friends, family. Definitely helped me. But also the stuff I was putting into my body in terms of junk food definitely wasn't helping. There's nothing worse than waking up feeling bloated and rough to start a day. Owl, have you ever gone back to that dark place before? I haven't. I haven't. Now, of course, there's going to be physical issues in the future. It's inevitable, isn't it? I mean, I've already got a bit of a fatty liver. If I can get down the weight, the numbers tend to balance out, and we'll see what the blood tests are like next week on that one. So I think there's going to be physical problems in the future. I can do something about that now. Again, if I can get it under control, eat less, exercise more, drop down to 13, 14 stone, I've got a chance of not having so many issues in the future. So I do have some control on that, and I'll share the data with you next week. But mentally, I mean, never say never, but I do feel stronger than ever, and I've never, ever returned to that dark place since the year 2012. And quite the opposite, really. It's just gone either up like that, or even just plateaued where things have not been going well. Because let's face it, that's life. It doesn't always go swimmingly well. I've never fallen into a deep kind of misery or depression or whatever it was, like I did back then, which is good, because it shows that I've kind of fixed it. Because you're going to go through trouble. I've lost people close to me, and that didn't send me into the position I was then. So hopefully that is just a one-off, and it was many years ago in 2012. And if you've managed to keep awake throughout this vlog, well done, I appreciate that one. And hopefully you've got some value from it. And I'll continue to be open and share with you either what I've gone through, what I'm going through, what I'm doing in the future, certainly while the channel is running. And I've got no intentions of finishing the channel because I'm enjoying it. And some of you may have noticed, or not, I've actually got the Amazon microphone Let me just try and get that off. So these were less than 20 quid because I've got rid of the DJI Pocket 3, so I've no longer got them mics. But these seem to be working okay. A little bit unnecessary on this because the microphone on the iPhone 16 Pro Max is good enough to do one of these. But I did test it before. I stood in the garden and I was able to pick up sound all the way from over there. So when I'm on Soybecow, these are going to come in really handy. And of course, the little remote. Right, everyone. So if you've enjoyed this little vlog, give us a thumbs up, share, comment. If you've not already, please subscribe. Your support means the world. And of course, we're getting closer to the Pattaya trip. 2 weeks, so many days. Plenty of vlogs to come, plenty of shorts, plenty of live shows. If you've not subscribed already, please do. It really helps the channel and the owl algorithm. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye bye.